Hello, my name is Rajan Arora and welcome to my course Essentials of SQL Server Performance for Every Developer. You are watching the video of Module 2 Analyzing SQL Statements for Performance, Part 3 Reading and Interpreting an Execution Plan for an SQL Statement. If you are new to this course, please start it from the course introduction video for better understanding. Thank you. Let me zoom in on the execution plan to make this plan easier for us to read. To read an execution plan, we want to work from right to left and from top to bottom. You can think of this as though the operations in the right are getting executed first, and then as we move to the left, these intermediate operations will build upon the already completed operations, and eventually we will get to this upper hand corner which represents our complete statement. Actually, this isn't quite 100% accurate, since SQL Server will parallelize parts of our statement for us, such that things aren't strictly sequential. But for analysis purpose, it's easiest if you think of things happening serially starting from the right and moving to the left. So, we will start out on the right with this cluster index scan operation, and we can see that on the second line this operation is occurring against the course enrollment table. We can also see on the third line what percentage of the total cost of the query this particular operation accounts for, and we see that this is 91% in this case. So that immediately signals to us that when we get to the point of tuning the statement, this is an operation that we really going to want to take a look at. In this case, I will go through each operations in the execution plan so you can get a feel for how to read these plans that SQL Server gives you. But a lot of times what you will do is you will bring up an execution plan and look for the operations that are accounting for the highest percentage of the overall statement cost and immediately focus in on those. So this cost percentage can really serve as a quick filter of what you are looking for. If I mouse over any operation, I will get a pop-up tooltip that going to give me some additional details information on that particular operation. So we see at the top of the tooltip, we have the name of the operation again. Below that, we have a little bit of description of the operation that SQL Server give us. In this case, we want to remember that a cluster index structure is a typical way that data in a table is stored in SQL Server. So the word scan indicates that SQL Server is reading the entire cluster index. So what that means is that in this operation, SQL Server is reading each and every row in the course enrollments table, and that's a table that has 37 lakh rows in it. When you are reading execution plans, this is actually something that you want to look for is if you have any cluster index scan operations on tables that you know contains a lot of data, because what a cluster index scan really means is that you are reading all of the rows in that table. And for large tables, that of course is going to be very expensive and takes a lot of time. So knowing this, that we are processing 37 lakh rows in this operation, we have a good idea already of why this particular operation is accounting for 91% of the cost of this statement. Now you might ask, what rows are we trying to find in this table? And that can be answered by looking at the predicate data on this pop-up, which is down here at the bottom. So you see our where clause for the statement, and what is happening is that we are trying to find out the rows for this particular student. But as we just talked about, we are having to look through all of the rows in the table to do that. We can also get an estimate of how many rows SQL Server expect to find in this operation, and that's given by an estimate number of rows value which is shown up here. The way that SQL Server calculate this is because SQL Server keeps some statistics on each table in the database, and these are statistics like how many rows are there in the table and what the rough distribution of data in that table is. SQL Server uses that information in order to form its execution plan, and that's also helpful to us here because it tells us that SQL Server is only expecting to find 45 rows, even though we know that it reading a very large number of rows from this table. The final item I want to talk about in this pop-up are these items that are labeled with the word cost. And you can see that there are 4 of them here. Cost is just a value that SQL Server used to express how expensive a particular operation or entire statements is compared to another statements or operation. As you see here, there is a CPU cost which reflects how much CPU this operation is going to use, and an IO cost reflecting how expensive the IO is for this operation. So basically, what SQL Server has done is it's taken the amount of CPU it thinks this operation will consume and the amount of IO, it's taken those value and it's normalized those amount against a scale such that it can add each of those values together and get a single value which represent how expensive this operation is. And that's what we see on this estimated operator cost line. Now, we also get a cost for an entire statement, which if we go over here and we look at the select in the upper hand left corner, we see that the estimate subtree cost is 12 here. And we can use this value so that we can compare the relative expense of running this statement versus other statement that we have. And that helps guide us about what are our most expensive SQL statement and which statements that we should tune first. So let's go ahead and continue to read this execution plan and understand what is going on in it. So we just read the course enrollments table and we got out the records for a particular students in there. And then if we come over here to the left, we see this step of parallelism. If you are unaware of the concept parallelism, then I would like to give you a brief explanation about it. Parallelism is a concept in which the big task is divided into the small tasks that run simultaneously and create desired result, and finally that partial result of each small task combined into the final big task. This concept of parallelism helped to run queries much faster. Okay, now we proceed further in the left, and now we can see the nested loop join and we can mouse over this. And from the description, it says that we are going to take each row in the upper data set and we are going to probe or investigate the lower data set in order to get that information. So this is what is doing our join between these two tables. If we go back over here, we see that this is the course offering table which is down here on the bottom. Now this is a cluster index seek operation. So it means what SQL Server is doing is it's actually using the tree structure of the cluster index in order to find the data. And as you see here, the cost is just 1%. And if we mouse over this, both of our cost values are very low for this operation. But basically, what these three operations here are doing together is finding the data it needs in course enrollments and then in joining that over to course offerings. So now we have an intermediate data set of those two tables combined. In the next step here, in nested loops, SQL Server will join the previous data set of course enrollment and course offerings and the result data set after fetching data from the course table, and in that it again perform parallelism to generate result. So finally, we get up here to the select box, and this represent our entire statement. We already looked at this, and this has our entire cost inside of it and also gives us an estimate number of rows. Now we know that we actually are getting more rows back. Again, the statistics data is just an estimate that SQL Server has, but this is basically the procedure that you use to read an execution plan. What you are going to want to do is move from right to left, and then when you encounter a join operation, you want to read those from top to bottom. You can see what each operation is doing and how it fits it with the operations around it. And if you want to see more details, then you have to mouse over one of the operations so you can get that pop-up box. This is my suggestion to you that you don't have to analyze each and every operation, but instead you can just focus on the high cost operations, and that helps you understand where you want to focus your tuning efforts. In the next video, I will demonstrate one additional technique for analyzing a statement, and that is how we get the amount of CPU and the IO that a statement uses when you actually run the statement. So, we will do that next. If you like this video, please do share, like and subscribe to my channel for more such videos. Thank you and see you in the next video.